Pima Pinota. Hey, good morning. It's Tuesday, April 20th. This is Brenda Albert again from Clifford Watney School and Red Pheasant. I'm just here. We're just here to say sorry that the old lady, Mrs. Teresa Sapp, cannot make it here, cannot be here. It's because, it's because of this new variant cases. We are, because she is an elder and we're afraid that she'll contract it, and she's very precious to us. So, today she was supposed to be talking about Nehiawihuna. When our young people get their names, how do you go about it? What do you do to get a Cree name? So she was supposed to talk about that today, but we'll announce at a later time when it's much safer for her to be coming here, for her to be out. She's much safer at home. So with that, yesterday she talked, her and Tina Whitford on my right here, they talked about wakuhtu and kinship. How important it is growing up, how to, respect your kinship members, anybody that you related to, well, for anybody for that fact, to be, to know who you're related to. Myself, when I was growing up, I was introduced to a lot of people by my late kukum, telling me who this person was, who I was related to. I went from I was told that my late grandmother, my late kukum told me that you're related to Pugawiak, Umaskihkani, that you related to everybody in this reserve. I am from Sweetgrass First Nation, Nagawachi. So, in other words, I'm related to everybody in that reserve and these other surrounding reserves too, because a long time ago, our people migrated. They came together at ceremonies, and then men would take wives, and then they would take their wife to which band they came from. So from there, you're related. I have relations here in Red Pheasant, even Mosquito, even Palmaker, Little Pine, Thunder Child, as far down south as Montana, and as far down west as Musquachies. I even have relations up north, because that's where my dad's from, my late dad, and Buffalo Narrows. So yeah, so we have to be really aware and respect, get to know our kinship, our wakumaganuk, our kinship members. And we have to pass that on to our young ones. I think the reason, when I think about it, my kukum, the reason why she used to take me around and tell me who this person was, how I was related to them, was to make me aware that, I had to, when it came to finding somebody, your partner, to make sure that you weren't related to them. It was very important that, our elders they found it very important where who you're related to respect that relationship you had with your wakumaganak, your relations. And now I find myself telling young people, that relationship, that kinship relationship is very important, to show respect for it. Especially for these young people, they have to realize that who they're related to. So with that, again, we're sorry that our old lady Teresa Sapp can't be here. Talk about Nehiwihuna, how to go, the proper way of getting yourself or getting your young ones to get a name. Okay. So with that, we'll do that at a later time. We'll bring her back in and we'll talk more about it. But anyways, in the meantime, what I'm going to get Tina Whitford, Kamamskuta, to talk about, because she is from this reserve, Red Pheasant, Miksuati, to talk more about her family. She comes from a big family, and hopefully she'll talk about as far back as she can remember her relationship, her kinship, family tree. And good morning to you too, Nikki. Good morning, Crystal. Good morning, Bonnie. And you're back from Massachusetts, Bonnie. Yeah. We don't have, again, Bonnie, we don't have very many old people down here. We do have to protect them. We do have to protect them. We've lost quite a bit. And when we lose our elders, it's like we lost a whole history book. Because the things they have in their heads when they leave this world, they take the whole history with them. Yeah, that is sad, but yeah, we do have to protect them. So with that, I'll turn it over to Tina Whitford.
Thanks, Tina Whitford and C. Carson. Although Mixwachi go to Red Pheasant. And three meto Mam skuta man dan si peso pigyak wasiw yak. Kaya asmani muy gatos pete tenegi pete maxiak. Muy gatos wapatin anuhtekat yak. Ina neo nitsanak gotasik napeok nitsanak. Eko pega nimispo eko niya. Inisiak iskoyak. Aya. Stemane getus get mana kagiu tawian eko kagiu kawian. We got to swap maga ki utawian with naga yapit. Ichai kaka pe kiwe gitasika. Ewan nit sana go gnape o vista mistake to sketch ki vita to schema chip kagi utawian. Ewan ina nemes manigi. Eki tu tamaga hegi we pichai was kaigani. Eki vichaha kagi okawia. Ewaya magi oye do chot sab mana na kaya no sum nanak maga no hom nanak ya give it sama nanak kagyo kaw ya no kaw ya ewa tun ki ge te o na ko hom no nini chitski tao ego manam stay excuse ya ne machu ke CWS stay gik to tigwa egi keskim gwa tan sigaise naga to gatswa e squareyak eka stay mani egi kes kikemut we wawi magi we to sweeta max squats keki we kwes kiwita mag excuse manam stay pentuto egi pentuto ekon Wakum no. Manam stay mamam tanita mana skoya. Amok snamage o naman nagagi ng tutok mano may tamagwa. Kunan kiko gipepin saman. Aya. Kutset stay manaya. Stay data mano maya ne pikskon ne hiwewen. Wais ni gani gipeks na magaw ya. Minekitsita mano maya. Sitsike o no. Kagiugaw yan mana. Tato ni pinagiwitsiwet. Impaway smooth mana. Manihita. Tani guma. Kakapem every year matasu tataski. Ampaway smooth. Kyo out kama miopik kama. Kune sa pabmatse kwes kupik nawasway. Ego mana. Tataski. Ampaway sumani gitet man. Ego manasko skisiane wasi an mana nistegi. Inisto mani gimpaway sumani witsumo mago kagyogaw yan. Tagi way yutni yan. Peo wapata man tatse. Ay sino gay suichi sut. Ako ka magway mo to ako sonik sisigi way. Tap matso na yaut namig. Stay wa mama ya sisigi on petapu gaiten. Mago maya. Kape wasiw ya kaya. Eksisyan mana ya. Igi wiki ak mana pagwan gamu. Muya was kaikan. Magam tenete eksisyan. Eksisyan mana ya. Stayok ta mana ya. Gitu sketsik mana ya. Skini ko kung. Kagyo tao yan. Wise. Imas kusike tsike ingute tsik. Ya sa statsik mita kung makawipe po. Kahiri waya. Egi ak mana ya. Sis ko ka. Stay kiwe utas tumuit my dad. Ewaya. Ewam namtan egi kisay mat. Sutimo. Egi anano maya. Mususak ewa. Kiwe utsu tapan ng huwag. Ito kiwe egi papa ko anak. Pupusak. Kawutsimit so agapta. Ego manegi usita te. Ikstiget managa kegi woks tigansa napatawa. Ego tama gaituan muikatin pekskiten kanuktegatian. Kake ego to ay egi upikitat kagi utawian. Ego wasi yakum stay manegi. Kukum no gawa katas mo. Aya mana Isipuetay huwag mana Nanto Butasik manigi tatas ya awasagit. Indong tamswag. Kikiwe emusak na minsa. Takwem nanay uskanek. Kuno kikwe imautas tatsi kumagawi tipipu kuma. Egi pasa maso asko etagwa makaya. Tagway nanay pasa ma asko ay manay asko egi canning manamisit kiway gitutamag. Muim stay gat tuts pagtingo nanwi gat nanto kay tuhtiak apu ka pamutiak kato kiuko awasak me muts paktingunan ka kiutawiak tama utel tasupiki ka toma ko kaya ka mametaw ko tamoy pukite ka pawi pachi ko kutaga kay sino tawet na kaya atoy manawasak ipe mametok manasko maga gusto po nesto stay tuskyak mo manan tontetin mane wa mama eksay sa maya ka quiz matso ki quiz na magaw ya dance kay matso waya kahyo kun story no kumak manek teke ya sige mi chetya bisa to waya imigaw nanwas kay kan tego muy mai simsa kahyo na teke suya mutsik temak siya kay weyut siya gititen mana watsi no te paya asko manaya itutay ko nan pebos tatoski manaya kameta we kung manu tutena tamana kom namana pamwes kawi tutay ko akte stay mana egi pickets manu egi usita tsuk manu kagi utawyan tawagi tsikektew utsunya ko apatihakan kanto miyota makikte wasiw ya kay sumay toma ito kam ko itutiak waya giutsapa ten minaya matiks na maswan na ya kagiutaw ya no ya bus driver ita gut magaya giutapa sut mana kahyo mana wasag igibnas ko na ako tin mana igi anskusi hat utapa nasko taw wasag impusi hat kapipok tamine ko mana ekskisyan kiwewekin man kagiutaw ya na one corner man hit in the wagon in the sleigh papusya nagtit itoks na maso kasam ne pegi atay ko magewaya matsaya kaskita kaya matsaya tetapyak itetapinan manaya mitsa na kuga itoks na maso maga nigan manam stegi tapakuyak Tatu kikse pa mana wipats kagi utaya nigi kuskun kwa once kak mistagan sa kakimutamago ako ap semua ek segi wap tat manam sa tamags pwede tapya wipats pangwes pisim ton kasagi tun manigi mamsin pa ako wapsak tatu kisa ka wapsak egi mo ako ewe ko mana kape so ako manop sa tamane ko tamay igimit siya ako maya porridge every day ko mama igimit siya tatu kisigaw tatu kisepaw eksen toks na maso kawa pe wan kape kiwe pa ya kasam ne pe musak na ako kaya wapsak asamin etapo ko sa egi way utakayas wapsa ko nga sisipag kakigiwe asko kakiutayan empahataya simusa muim stay gato teo tsaya wita ko kuteya musa ke kwatso mo ke kwatso maya amatstata kutets Tonsiyo mo sa mana stay pa stay man. Eko no mana ki Ekimicha.
Hayama kaya kihtago tio tegistawa abstachiksak.
Mui katsutsua mauk. Utei semana tas kutsayo ma kindersay. Utei sama uktaman giwa mauk. Mui mago yute.
Yeah. Mun katsuts ta kuhti oguti.
No.
Nis nana kutongi op mauga abstachiksak nagawatsi. For those that don't understand, abstachikus is an antelope. You know, I asked her if growing up, did she ever see those antelope in this area? And she said she never did. Neither have I never seen them till recently that they've been coming further up north over here. So yeah, abstachikos. Tina here was talking about her childhood, where she grew up. She grew up on this reserve. She comes from a big family. She has 8 siblings, 6 brothers, including herself and her older sister Mary. A long time ago, families had lots of kids, and everybody was poor, but they managed. Her mom and dad, they managed. She said she never remembered a time that she ever went hungry. It seems like they always had food. It was food that they got from the land, like rabbit, sisip ducks, and pihewak probably, prairie chickens, and sometimes deer meat her dad would shoot. And they always had animals, horses at her place. Her dad always had horses. So she grew up, her and her family, her siblings grew up with horses in Satamuk. She said she also remembered they had chickens, pigs. They had pigs, cows. So her, even though she come from a huge family, her dad and her mom managed to finish raising them and not for them to go hungry. And she said she remembers that she never thought she was poor. She thought she was rich because she had all these animals and, such a beautiful land, a beautiful house to grow up in. As she said, it was a small house, but somehow they managed to all sleep in this tiny house. And she said she remembered going to school that her dad was a bus driver, and her dad would hitch up a sleigh or a wagon, one behind the other, and you would be the one picking up the kids at home on this reserve in Red Pheasant and taking them to school. Probably was a day school, right? So yeah, she remembered all that. And she remembered also, she said that her dad always told them not to go visiting when they were growing up because, they have their own piece of land there that they can play in and there was always things to do. So, they never left their home environment. They always stayed within their area. They were never allowed to go visiting, or else her mom and dad would tell her, if you go visiting, people get sick of you. So yeah, she grew up with her cousins. Her cousins would come and visit. There was always things for them to do. Doesn't matter what season it was, there was always things for them to do. Let's see, what else did you say? Everything was done manually, labor, like with a lot of labor, like, hauling water, doing the farm chores, doing inside of the house, washing. It was a lot of labor work. So they got used to it, and she was saying in the language that she never thought it was hard work. It was fun. They had each one of them had certain chores to do. And then she said when she discovered that she could ride horses, it was a lot easier for them to travel, like to school and back home. So they're a horse family, I would say, the way she was talking. A lot of families here are horse people. They're horse families. The horse is blessing them.
He did not stop on.
Yeah, and they used to snare rabbits. So they used to ride the horses to go check their snares and come back or go to school, to do all sorts of things. So the horse was the transportation. They didn't even really have a vehicle per se. So they had the horse was their main form of transportation. So I think when you look back at it after she was talking, we have a very easy life. We need to, I think, I myself personally, I think I would rather go back and live on this land, because the way she was talking, that's the way I grew up too. We're able to, I think we are able still to live off this land. We know how. We know the how. So, trying to talk you out.
And we can eat the food, not like now.
Yeah, we can eat the food. So, I remember like her too. We used to eat wapos, rabbit. We used to eat deer. Like she said, us too, we never saw any moose.
Mm-hmm.
They mostly lived in the north. And we also ate gopher. Some people, when you tell some young people we're going to have gopher, they kind of give you a funny look on their faces, like a gagging noise. Like my friend over here, Braden, probably would never eat a gopher. Oh, you would try?
Check it out.
Oh, good. Well, you can go and catch me one outside. There's lots running around in the front. That's one of the things we were taught, how to catch it, how to prepare it, how to cook it, and eat it. Food back then was delicious. It was much healthier. Yeah. Like, I never... Kiamaka, did you ever hear anybody having diabetes or cancer? No, neither have I. That word diabetes wasn't part of our language. So was cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these old people that we've lost, back then we lost because they were too old.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were done with their life on this earth. But now you hear old people, cancer, diabetes, which is sad to say. But anyways, Tina Whitford here, she still works. She works here at the school, by the way. She's one of our custodians. She's a hard worker, very hard worker. And she, it's because the way she was raised too. And you never see her sitting down for a long period of time, because that's the way she was raised, to always move. There's always something that she finds to work. And good morning, Sean. Tansa tao yan, nuwa kumagan. Kinsto tao. So the Sean Watney said good morning. Good morning, Harriet Musapeo. Ay sagay gani. We have Bonnie, Nikki, Crystal Baptiste.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, my girl.
But anyways, yeah. You know what? Just to let you know, Kanahiya or this month, April, we say Ayigi Pisim. I've not heard any Ayik Sakyat.
Australia.
Oh, really? Niin annettu käyt ja kotsi kutsuun suo.
Ja kottunivat.
This is frog moon. This April. This is the time when we used to, frogs would be heard. She said she heard the frogs. I haven't heard any back home. Mine are probably, their lips are probably frozen to the pond yet. Oh, gosh. But I've seen, Atsamussi kansak. Pussy willows already. Pusissak, yeah. But anyways, yeah. And we're waiting for one more lady. Rhonda Watney Barber. She's from this reserve too. She grew up on this reserve. I'm waiting patiently. She did grow up on this reserve. And if you notice, if you were listening to Tina, some of the old people that she mentioned, her Kokum, she didn't say the English name. She said their Cree names. Because long time ago, people were known by their Cree names, the way they were called, not by their English names. Everybody knew by Kaniyawi Kasutsk. Me too, when I was growing up, I didn't even know my late mom's English name for the longest time. Or my Kukums too. When somebody would call them, they would say their Cree name. Yeah. So, having Cree names is very important in Yawi Kaswin. So you got anything else to say?
Yeah. I will. Good to hear te we sa tsumwa.
Go ahead.
Kiwe ka tsum start no ya. Yes pai ge wasiu ya. E wa ka tatas mago ko no. Egi pai ku start mana ya. Munyasa. Ego manas ko egi ya. Egi mamam tanay taman mana. Tani nga ku start ko ni munyasa. Esa maga mamana kaya so mama 60 scoop kay tami. So mamane ko no egi ku start wasa ya. Kapenas ko ingaw ya ko nga. Ego manegi teta ya. Munyasa wap maigo. Tapasik ses kamok. Egi tet mana. Kita tuem pego wasiu ya. Mama meta ako maya hockey outside. Ini piko ma floor hockey meta ya. Kita te papa ita ya. E wapis ksita yo tapanas. Ini kinosit magemiusit. Kio maskan pito kay suhenga na ya. Endo ita mo ako kukum na ya. Munyas papa ita. Munyas. Kasuk, squat, sasik, pagam siwap under the beds. Kati ko ama. Ego gaya nste sago Clarence kaya. Nste Mike. We are the Ikikitayustik. Omunan to tapatan hitiok. Aseo ga pepiti wet. Ito ay Clarence. Wita mawik. Mrs. Mary Baptiste de si Kakaswaywin. Kahit ito kukum no. Ego Clarence magamina. Pugis manigis na no etet. Kahit tataya. Munya son. Her name is Mrs. Wooden Spoon. Kahit tat. Kung tawya munya se tams ko ato kukum no. Good afternoon, Mrs. Wooden Spoon. Don't say ito kukum no. Good afternoon, Mrs. Wooden Spoon 8 disc. Nuts. Kiwan mangan ba? Mr. Gwemi gwanitet. Hey, kakskite no gawi og tagutet. Gawi vita mogi. Kunte yaski mach mo meksisi si kasi dates. Kunte usita at saka mawin. Ewa mane mita ne at sumwane. Pagisa mane gis mamuchik sa chigo ganiste sa kaya. Muy nanto guys may tuta tawi ma kunta no te papiuni hetsik.
Okay, I'm going to translate this. She was telling a little story. Tina here. She was talking about what happened a long time ago when they were young. I guess her late kukum, Mary Baptiste, Mrs. Mary Baptiste, that was her name. Her parents went someplace, and I guess the kukum kept them. And there were quite a bit of kids. And back then, that was that time when they were picking up kids for, they called it the 60s scoop. It was during that time period. Anyways, out of a sudden, they seen this big truck, big white truck coming. And one of them yelled, Muñoz, Muñoz, white man, white man. And the old lady told all of them, hide, hide. So they all ran inside and they were all thrown under the bed to hide, like actually thrown in under the bed to hide from this Muñoz. Because the old lady was scared to lose her grandchildren to this, because of the 60s scoop. And I guess Clarence and Mike, by the time they were trying to hide, it was too late. As Muñoz was standing by the door, and they said, it's too late. He's here. This white man is here. And then the old lady was trying to hide the other grandchildren. They were still under the bed. And that Muñoz, the white guy, asked, what's her name? What's the old lady's name? And Clarence and Mike said, her name is Mrs. Wooden Spoon. They didn't want to give her real name. What's her name? Mrs. Wooden Spoon. And the old lady asked Clarence and Mike, he said, what did that white man want? He wanted to know your name, so we told him your name was Mrs. Wooden Spoon. And the old lady said, what's that? Because, if you translate wooden spoon into Cree, it sounds really funny. So they told the old lady, they translated Mrs. Wooden Spoon. Not, said the old lady, that's not my name. Anyways, the kids were not taking that. That was the moral of the story, Mrs. Wooden Spoon here was somehow evaded the white guy. But anyways, yeah, so it's good to talk about things, especially old people when they're, the old people, they don't realize that they're funny. The things they say or do, it's funny to young people. And then you can talk about them after just to bring some joy, But anyways, yeah, I guess we can stop there. And sorry, Rhonda Watney Barber who can't make it. And we'll let you know in the future when we can get Mrs. Teresa Sapp at be safe for her to come back down. Yeah. So with that, Migiskansik, Miumachuk, Nagatain Sok, Nagatamik, Tiwakumaganuak, Josimsog, Simog. With that, I'd like to say, have a good day. Be safe, be healthy, take care of your family, your friends, your relatives. Okay.
Niistä ennen askumuna ja epi atsimusiane. Niistä mä ne mieitä mä ne ei ne hiojan. Ei mieitä mä ne. Yksi sama näki voi tani kuin se instituuta maunian. Kapatsitaan ne piikskoon ne hiojan. Kun ne askumuna ja ennen tuota ojek. Ja stapsiski voi atsimusiane pisopikian. Egi pe miu pikian, pe miu piki kauyan. Egi weyut siana ya. Teke isaya, kete ya koga egi. Epe snama gua ke pe nan toto. Kaka pe mana ya. Kau sisiki we. I reflect kai te kam kau. Kiwe ipek snama goyan. Kaki utawayan naman stay. Iki tutigwa ke kami stay man iki pik skotigwa. Enanas kumuan. Maga ekse ekui kupukup tama. Tentagage tenomegas enanehio yan. Muimteneya. Muimtene mana mamita mana kamu. Kamu niaw yan magaya. What's mani no tene hiyo yan. Nanas kumuna we taon na mautaya. Kapatsitan ni Pixcon. Hi.
So with that, thank you for all the listeners, watchers, viewers. Akamemok. Keep going. If you're speaking your language, akamemok, keep going. And pass it on. Asonamagig. And thank you, Linda, for enjoying Tina's Mrs. Wooden Spoon story. Thank you, Laverne, Bonnie, Tania, Carrie, Sean. Thank you, Crystal, Nikki. Thank you for listening and watching. Shots will, at a later time, we'll let you know at a time when it's safe for Mrs. Jesus Sap to come in and talk about how to go about getting your Nihio Wihuna and some other topics. This is not the end of this. We'll continue some way or another. So with that, Mugi Skansik.